And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first Mon Valley Independent live webcast. We're coming to you live from the Foster House 2 in Washington Township. I'm your host for the evening, Lou Rude, and I will be joined shortly by Mon Valley Independent sports editor Jeremy Salou and sports writer Jose Negron, as we break down the WPIAL football brackets for all the Mon Valley teams involved in the 2018 playoffs, and interview players and coaches from the respective teams. Tonight we hope to provide a showcase for our local athletes in a new and exciting format, allowing you, the audience, to put a name and face together with our athletes and coaches and give them a forum to reach out to their fan bases. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's get this thing started. Thank you for joining us for the first live webcast of the Mon Valley Independent. The format for tonight's show is very simple. We will break down each of the 5 brackets from 1A through 5A that have Mon Valley teams competing in the playoffs. Included in the segments will be interviews with coaches and/or players from the respective teams. And we hope to conclude the evening with an open question and answer session from those in attendance and from you watching online. But that's enough for me. It's time now to meet Jeremy Salou, Mon Valley Independent sports editor, and his colleague and foil, sports writer Jose Negron. Is everybody ready to get this show on the road? Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Lou. Welcome to the Foster House 2 in Washington Township, Pennsylvania. We are live. This is our baby. This is what we've wanted for the last 2.5 years. We are live with our first webcast. We are going to be breaking down the WPIAL playoff brackets. Can I get a King Cap? Some extra cheese? Same way. Same way. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry about that. When you're at the Foster House, you got to do important business. So anyway, first off, we'd like to thank the Foster House for hosting this first webcast. Jose, I'm excited. Are you ready?
I am very excited. We got a packed house here, Foster House 2, ready to get the brackets broken down.
Well, let's not keep everybody waiting. I know for those of you at home, everybody out there in the bar, pull out them phones, go to YouTube. You can stream us live, search for MVI Live, and definitely subscribe to that. You will get notifications of every live broadcast we do. Even the little funny ones, you know, Jose likes to lay on tables every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
So we'll.
Dad of the Year likes to be a very good father to.
I do, and we may even have a little appearance by Curly Sue tonight. You never know. Okay, so let's start right off. Let's look at Class 5A. Our local team, the McKeesport Tigers. We'll have a couple coaches here in a hot seat with us in a few minutes. But let's just look. McKeesport's hosting Upper St. Clair Friday night at 7:30. So what we want to do is we'll take a look at the quadrant right here, the top. The McKeesport Tigers are the 7th seed, hosting number 10 Upper St. Clair Panthers. Legendary coach Jim Render there. But the Tigers have owned the Panthers a little bit the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
They've handled their business and won.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 3 games, they've been playing 3 games since 2016, regular season contest, and then a playoff game in 2016 that McKeesport took. And then last year, the regular season non-conference victory over Upper St. Clair. So familiarity there.
Right.
So it might be an advantage for McKeesport and an advantage for Upper St. Clair. They know what to expect, even though I'm sure there's different guys in different positions, with graduation, things of that nature. But yeah, going to be a battle between 2 familiar opponents.
And I think what's interesting about McKeesport is, and they're not our only team that does this, but they have a very unique offense. They run the triple option, kind of a flex bone wing tee.
Yeah.
They're hard to prepare for. All season long, you prepared for teams with a spread, pro-style offense, and now you got to face this monster. And hey, there's no sugarcoating it. They lost 3 Division I athletes back there, but this team's something to be contended with, and they've added a wrinkle with the quarterback being able to throw the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, when you lose weapons like, J.J. Harper, and you lose Slayton Jordan and Carlinos Acey, it's tough to replace those guys, but they've brought guys in and then put guys into those spots. You mentioned Canota Gaskins. He's a dual threat quarterback. He doesn't just run the football, he can throw it as well. So, and they have Diamante Diggs as a nice wide out in the pass game as well. So they're not just a one-trick pony.
And you talk about Diggs. I mean, he has, I think 600 some yards receiving, but he's like 6'5", 6'6".
Right.
I mean, anybody, I could throw to a guy out there,
I mean,
that's that big.
We've seen him be dominant on the basketball court, and he's dominant on the gridiron as well.
So we got a couple seats back here with us, and it's time to put some coaches in the hot seat. Lou, who do you have up there for us?
Thanks, Jeremy. I have McKeesport Tiger defensive coordinator Troy Blackwell on my right, and to his right is defensive back coach John Harper. Now, Coach, you had a great year, 8-2 overall, just 2 little bumps in the road along the way, and the defense performed well. I mean, you guys gave up only 137 points on the season, averaging 13.7. What stands out to you as the most impressive thing about your defense this year?
Just being able to line up to all the different spread sets and creative formations, and the scheme that we use gives us a chance to get more speed on the field, which helps us out a lot.
Okay, and that plays right into what my second question is, and I'll ask you, Coach Harper. You guys practice daily against the flexbone triple option, and Coach Blackwell mentioned about the fact matching up against the spreads. How hard is it for you to change gears with your players, especially the DBs who are going against a run-heavy team in practice every day, to then switch and go to spread offenses that they have to go up against in the conference and possibly in the playoffs?
I think for us, I just believe with our defense, we go against multiple offenses. We try to prepare our team for that. So as long as we communicate and adjust the proper steps, I think we move just pretty fine with it. I think just the communication part on responsibilities. That's basically what it comes down to.
All right, coaches, thank you very much. Good luck to you in the playoffs. Let's send you over to Jeremy and Jose, and they'll ask you the rest of the questions. Thank you.
Have a seat there. You can move it back. Obviously, you're a big guy. All right, thank you. We're welcome back. We're here with Coach Blackwell, Coach Harper from the McKeesport Tigers. Coach Blackwell, I know you're the defensive coordinator. You've been around for these couple Upper St. Clair games. They have a couple weapons on offense that I know you're probably well aware of, scouting them on film now. Let's first talk about quarterback Jason Sweeney. He has almost 1,500 yards passing, and he throws his 2 brothers on the outside, which can be pretty dangerous.
Just watching film on him, throws the ball very well. Isn't afraid to take chances to get the ball down the field, and he'll take what's there. Like, if there's a 5-yard out open or an 8-yard out open, he'll hit it and live to fight another day. But there's a chance deep he will throw it. He doesn't shy away from any throws. He can make all the throws on the field. He has a pretty strong arm.
Coach Harper, I guess you coach defensive backs. Obviously, I talked a little bit about the Portellis brothers at the receiver. I think they combined for 1,100 yards this year. What are you telling your guys to be ready for from them watching them on the field?
Just pay attention to the number of receivers, the combination routes based on their alignment, close to the ball, close to the sideline, understanding the field. So as long as they do that in particular, as long as they make the adjustments, understanding where the receivers are on the field, we pretty much should be watching film. Hopefully we'll be competitive enough.
I know you bring a lot of athleticism, no matter where you guys are at on the film. And I know, while you're not the position coaches, but in a game like this, how big are those guys on the offensive and defensive line for you? Because obviously, I'm sure you play football, everything starts there.
Just having a background as a defensive lineman, and also as well as being a defensive coordinator, defensive line coach.
Right.
We know that as much as we like, spread offenses and offense reports on the board, we know that it's one in the trenches.
Right.
So I just iterate with defensive linemen on pressuring the quarterback, being good tacklers, making sure that we keep our linebackers free, just things like that. So even though the game is a lot on the perimeter, it definitely still starts in front.
A question for both of you guys. We kind of talked a little bit in our intro about the familiarity. Last couple of years you guys have played Upper St. Clair. Has it made the preparation easier for you guys, knowing that you have experience playing against a team like that?
Just playing against a great, Hall of Fame type coach like Coach Render, he's going to throw a lot at you for his formation and preparation. So being this probably, I believe, our fourth game against him in the last few years, it kind of helps, but just knowing that anything can be thrown at you is really where the preparation comes in. He likes to use multiple sets and things like that, so yeah, it definitely kind of helps.
Basically the same thing what Coach Troy said. Coach Render, being a Hall of Fame coach, I've been across him for 4 games in 3 years, but I kind of remember him from even when years back, where he gives you multiple formations, he makes you think, he makes your players have to communicate. If you don't, he can beat you bad. So, hopefully our kids are mentally sound and ready for the competition.
One thing with a little bit what we talked about is, you can answer this as a defensive guy too. You guys lost the 3D1 guys on your offense. Obviously, your son now is playing at Youngstown State. Carlinos is at Navy. Layton's at Temple. But you guys seem to fill those in. It's kind of like a reload. You never rebuild. If you had to defend this group, especially Canota with the way he's been throwing the ball, how would you defend?
Defending us like I'm pretty sure it's universal across the board. Defending the option 10 are going to tell you assignment football. Like I said, the scheme that we use would be helpful because you're able to have enough speed on the field to adjust to the triple option attack as well as cover the pass.
Right.
You have more defensive back in the field than you do big guys. So I think it's all about the scheming and your preparation, which it's easy for us to say I've been looking at options since I was 12 years old, but it mainly comes down to assignment football.
Right. For either one of you guys, the final question we have for you is, what's the one X factor? What's the one thing you guys have to do the best to come out with a win? And by the looks of it, you're staring down Penn Hills in the next round, but keep it grounded. Make sure this is the thing that you need to do to pull out a win on Friday night.
Just being a defensive guy is don't leave any plays out there. We need to stop and get our offensive ball, and then we need to get a stop. Say we need to force a turnover in this situation. That's what we have to do. We don't, like they say, don't leave any stone unturned. Just every play that we need to make, it just needs to be done. I'm just taking the defensive aspect, and I just believe the offense will handle it too.
And I'm not just saying this because you guys are sitting here, but I'm going to make a prediction. I think you guys handle business. You seem to have Upper St. Clair's number. I'm going to go. I don't know about you, Jose. I think they're going to get into the 30s and put enough points on the board to get to that next round. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go maybe 38-14. Feeling it, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you making the drive down. This is something great. we're really looking to support you guys and cover you guys. I know AD Kiss, just because we're personally not there, we partner with the Trib. I know Chris Harlan's going to be at your game tonight. I'm proud to say we're covering all the games in our coverage area this week, 7 games, 7 game stories. I'm looking forward to a great football weekend. I know you are. And coming up next for you guys out there, one thing we did this week a little different is we asked some of our athletes to submit huddle highlights. So we got 3-minute clips. We ranked them, I think 4 through 1, and we have a player to watch. I think we're going to get started with that. So on the monitors, you can check those out. Guys, again, thank you for coming down and being a part of this. This is great. And we're looking to do this again next year. And hoop season, I think this is a great thing. And we want to highlight those McKee Sport athletes as much as we highlight everybody else. So we appreciate you coming down. All right, we're going to watch a highlight package, and we're going to head to commercial. Thank you.
If you're looking for an aggressive, experienced, results-based law firm, trust in Blaine Jones Law. My team of attorneys will create a solid strategy so that you have the best chance at a successful case. Trust in Blaine Jones Law and call today.
All right, it's all fixed up for you.
Oh, well, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. This is Josh Turkovich from Mon Valley Phone Repair. Shout out to all you student athletes in the Mon Valley. Keep up the great work. From a variety of accessories to new and used model devices, Mon Valley Phone Repair is your one-stop shop. We even buy and sell gift cards. We work on all makes and models of devices, from computers to phones and everything in between. Come see us on the top street in Menneson. Mon Valley Phone Repair, your one-stop shop.
At my dear 67.
Foster House 2 here in Washington Township for the initial live webcast of the Mon Valley Independent, breaking down the 2018 playoffs for WPIAL football. It's time now to head to 4A, so let's head back to Jeremy and Jose and see what they have to say about the 4A bracket with our lone team in the mix, the Belle Vernon area Leopards.
Got it.
All right, thanks, Lou. Now we're going on to the 4A bracket. One team just like 5A. We got the Belle Vernon area Leopards.
Right.
The third seed taking on the sixth-seeded Beaver area. They get to host a game at James Ware Stadium
On the
at
beach.
the beach.
On the beach.
And Jeremy, second in the Big Eight, behind. Their only loss to Thomas Jefferson.
Right.
Obviously, they've been riddled with injuries.
Right.
But I mean, this is a team that they have so much depth. They have guys that can step in. Really.
Well, a little birdie told me that they're getting some guys back this week. I covered them against Ringgold on Friday night. They handled their business and won 55-0 against a rebuilding Ringgold team. But they sat out a lot of guys that needed the rest. Mason Pasco, who shout out, he is in attendance tonight. He only played a couple series. But I think the big person they're going to be out this week is quarterback Jared Hartman, which will send him our best. He underwent his surgery today to reconstruct his knee. So, Jared, we're sending you all our best. But I think they get some guys coming back on the line. And against this Beaver team who likes to do some run-pass option, some spread, the line is going to be key, especially that defensive unit. Get in the backfield, which honestly they haven't had much trouble doing this year.
Right. And I mean, with Mason Pasco in that backfield, I mean, 9th at the WPIAL in rushing yards, and I believe he actually missed the Plum game. He didn't play in the Plum game, which Larry Calloway filled the void perfectly.
Yeah, and you know what? I talked to Coach Humbert a little bit about it, and Mason had a chance at 2,000 yards this year. But to be on the cautious side, obviously team goals come first. Not taking that he had an outstanding season, but Nolan Reluda, who took over for Hartman, he didn't play against Ringgold, so he's fresh as can be. And Andrew Pasak, he did a great job filling in, and he could throw the ball. So while they'll be missing Hartman as their leader, I think on the field, the play-wise, I don't think they really drop off that much. I think they're going to be okay. And like you mentioned, Larry Calloway has really set himself up, to be another weapon in that offense.
Right. And I think Lou is with two of our assistant coaches.
We got some more coaches for the hot seat over here. That's going to be great.
Absolutely. So we're going to send it back over to Lou Root.
And are we back? We are back. All right, thank you. It's kind of hard to hear, know for sure. Tonight, our second guests come from Belle Vernon area. I've got on my left Coach Frank Musino, who coaches the special teams and helps with the O&D line. And on my right, Coach Jim McGinley, who is the running backs coach. And, Coach, we'll start with you. I'm a former running backs coach at Belle Vernon myself back in the day. And, there have been some pretty good backs come through Belle Vernon. How would you rate your backs this year?
Well, the back's to you, Coach. I've heard really unbelievable things about it, but we've been very blessed at Belle Vernon to have some really, really good running backs. Not only good running backs, good people. And this year, I think, is no different. We have 2 very excellent running backs. Larry Calloway, who's our backup. He's like our 1A, and our number 1 running back, Mason Pasco, who, for everything that concerns me, he's the player of the year in our conference and should be. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I feel he's the player of the year in our conference and the MVP of our team. He does an excellent job on off the field, excellent job in the classroom, excellent job in the community. And, speaking of the devil, the young man is right here.
All right, come on in here, Mason. And, I've got to say, you were very impressive this year. I got a chance to see your effort against Thomas Jefferson and your effort up against West Mifflin. But playoff time now. Is that going to bring an extra effort out of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just gotta play our best and be ready for every team that we play.
Well, good luck to you in the playoffs. And right now I'm going to talk to Coach Frank Musino, special teams coach. And Frank, what has been the key to the success of the special teams this year?
Well, I just think it's the emphasis Coach Humbert puts on special teams. I think we do more special teams work than most teams do. And we prepare and take the time to get the kids ready. And it also helps to have great kids on the special teams. A lot of times, it's your second group of guys that are running on the special teams, and it just shows the quality of kids we have up and down. And when you have the athletes on your return teams like Mason and Larry and Hunter, and I can go down the whole list, but they make the teams special. The kids want to do it. They take pride in it, and it really helps out a lot. So hopefully we make a big play Friday night and help the team win.
And it shows, too. Good luck to both of you. Congratulations on a great year. Head over to Jeremy and Jose now, and they got some more questions for you. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, you need me to talk some more, Chad? Is that what you're telling me?
All right. We got our coaches coming in here.
Get in there.
How you doing? What's your name?
Frank came that way, so you're going to have a seat where you sit. Right here. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. This is going to be fun. I know I spent some time with you on the sidelines, and I got the top question of the night. I know Mason's going to like this question. His teammates are going to like this question, and Coach Humbert's going to like this question. Coach McGinley, when's the last time you wore a pair of pants?
How is that relevant to the football? I'm here to talk football.
well, see, everybody sees you marching up and down the sidelines.
Weddings, funerals, and job interviews, I think. That's the last time.
But did you have to wear them to the interview for this job?
Most definitely not.
Exactly. So your logic is failed. Okay. So let's talk real quick. We got Mason in the stands here. What makes him such a special running back?
His explosiveness, his ability to change directions without slowing down, the weight, the speed, and the explosiveness he hits the hole with. I've coached running backs for 10 years at Ringgold and Belle Vernon. We've had some very special ones, and
right.
he's extra special because of those attributes.
And Coach Musino, I know you do a lot with the lines too, and you got some couple key guys coming back this week. How much can they help you against a team like Beaver?
They'll help us a lot. Our game's running the football. We like to be physical up front, play to the whistle. And, this group of kids up and down, they do that better than any group I've been around. Coach D, Coach Betts does a great job with them. They're just tough physical kids, and they get after people.
So one of the things I want to know, and I've gotten to know Coach Humbert on a personal level. I know what type of coach he is. I know he's very detail-oriented. What is a week of preparation with Coach Humbert like? Because I know he holds you guys accountable for a lot of things too. Good, you can go first. You can go first, Frank.
I'll pass that.
Thanks, Frank. Listen, I've been with him for, I think this is our 10th year together. I was with him 5 years at Ringgold, maybe 9th year together. This is our 5th year at Belle Vernon. And detail-oriented. He will question why you do things just to make sure you have a good reason why. I'm going to tell you something. I think his record is 72-23 at 2 schools. He's turned 2 schools' programs around as far as I'm concerned, because I was at Ringgold when we got there, and I was with him at Belle Vernon when we got there. I mean, you know, I don't think we can say enough good things about him as far as his ability to change the culture in a place like he did at Ringgold. Like I believe he's done at Belle Vernon. I mean, those things don't happen overnight. He's done it through discipline, through demanding of his players and coaches on and off the field. You know, it's just our staff is unbelievable. Our defense coordinator, Coach Brett Barish, fantastic job. I think we had the #1 or #2 defense in the WPIAL in 4A the last 5 years of Belle Vernon. And I think at Ringgold we were in second when he was with us. So, you know. Coach Humbert demands the best out of us as coaches, and I think that's what makes us a great staff and a good team.
And that's one thing, me, for as close as I've been to the program, as demanding as it is for you guys and for him and the players. I mean, I know they hold themselves accountable too, but you guys still seem to have a lot of fun. I know you're like the hype man for the coaches. You got a couple hype men on the field. But, you know, you guys kind of took a shot at West Ridgeland when Jared went down. First, take me through, you know, how that mood went there, but how you saw your team rally. I mean, almost from the instance that it happened, you know, you scored a touchdown on the next play.
I think we just preach it's a standard, and we want to play up to a certain standard. And Coach preaches that. And, you know, it's the next kid in, it's not can you do it, but, you know, you're going to play to this standard. You coach the kids up to understand that, you know, your next guy in, you're going to play up to the standard. We're not going to drop off just because we lose a guy, you know. So it's all part of the program.
And one of the things he did, he came in and challenged the offensive line and the running backs as soon as that happened, because we knew we were going to be ground chucked for that game. Because now we can do whatever we want as far as throwing the ball and running the ball. But that game, he demanded more of the offense, and I said, we have to score this next play. And they drove him off the ball, and we did.
And one of the things we talk about with the tradition in Belle Vernon, I mean, when's the last time your middle school team lost a game? I mean, you guys have a pedigree that you guys want to keep going over and over and over. And it seems like so far, I think you mentioned it starts down below with Coach Humbert has his fingers in down there, and it prepares your guys for when they see you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, guys involved from the bottom up.
Right.
Everybody's expected to do the same thing. You're held to the same standard, whether it's middle school, high school, JV, whatever it is, you know.
Obviously, all season long, we've been used to seeing Mason run for 200 or so yards a game. You know, what's it like to be able to see Larry come in and have a solid performance last week? I mean, what's it like to be able to have not just Mason in the running game, but also have Larry back there who can have an impact on a contest?
You know, it's funny. If you watch the second half of the West Mifflin game, Mason carried, I think, one time in the second half. Right. And they knew we were running, and we ran it right down their throats. Larry. 5, 6, 8, 6, 7, 9, 8. Ball security, great. They knew we were running, and we were still running. And Larry ran exceptionally hard. It's just no drop off. It's what he just said. Next man up mentality. If someone goes down, guess what? The expectation doesn't change. The expectation doesn't change, and it didn't.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But just real quick, I mean, you guys, I know how tedious it is to break down film with Coach Humbert, and he's very detail-oriented, like you said. But what do you see from Beaver? You know, what do you expect for them to bring to the table? You know, I mean, and what's it going to take for you guys to come out with a win on Friday night?
I mean, they're a typical Beaver County team. You know, they're hard-nosed, tough, physical kids. They're aggressive. Quarterbacks, they got pretty good quarterback, pretty good running back. You know, they run a lot of read option, dive option, little RPOs, and the kid seems to like to throw it down the field. Defensively, they're 4-4 team base, but they will jump into a 50 or 3-4. When their backs are against the wall, they seem to like to bring pressure. So, but I think it's more just about us being who we are, and we're going to run the football. We're going to rely on the guys up front. You have 3 big seniors up there who work the tails off. we understand that's where our strength's at. You know, so hopefully we'll have a good night Friday.
And you mentioned a little bit, we saw a little bit of something different Friday night with Bertram running that Wildcat. I mean, that looks like something that you just threw into the arsenal that it's a whole nother dimension. I mean, he trucked a couple people, had a big long run. And for a big kid, he moves pretty well.
Listen, Jeremy, it's not called the Wildcat with birds. It's called the Birdcat. It's called the Birdcat. Birdcat.
I don't know.
No. But you know what? It was something. The kid works hard at everything he does. He's a tough kid. So we said, just give him the ball. And it worked out good. But we have a lot of things in our arsenal. Now that we've had time to rep the new quarterbacks, we can come out throwing the ball if we have to throw. We can come out and run the ball if we have to run it. We can come out and Birdcat it if we have to Birdcat it. We can play whatever game we need to play, and we will try to attack somebody's weaknesses. And Beaver doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. I mean, their quarterback can both run the ball and throw the ball. Their tailback, I'm very impressed. I think they're a very scrappy team. So, it's just something we have to be at our best Friday night.
I have one final question too. Obviously, losing Jared was a big blow for you guys. But how motivated? Obviously, any team, it's a brotherhood out there. How motivated and are the guys to be able to win it for him and to be able to have success for him? I'm sure he's a big part of what you guys are still doing, on the sideline in terms of helping hype the guys up and things like that. But how motivated is the coaching staff and the players, to be able to win it for him and have success for him?
I just think, he was a leader on the field. Kids, believed in him when he was behind center. And, with that being said, he's still around the team. But the other kids have stepped up, and shown they can handle what's going on. And the team believes in them, and the coaching staffs believe in them guys. And, so it's just one foot forward now and on to the next level.
I know you're on a time limit, but I just want to say this. Jared had his surgery today. Shout out to Jared because we all love him. Teammates love him. And you saw the second half against West Mifflin when he went down. It was smash mouth football at its finest. EVA style, baby.
All right, well, Jose, we'll see you guys Friday night. He'll be covering the game. You want to offer up a prediction real quick?
I don't know. What are you thinking first? I'll go off you.
I mean, Bell Vernon wins this. I want to see. I can't wait to see the Bell Vernon South Fayette match up in that second round. I'm glad you guys don't have the TJ, thing coming up in front of you, and I hope you see them again because I think it's a whole different ballgame. But
the seeding was done fantastic this year. You think about 8 teams. The one seed from one conference should play the 4 in the other.
Right, absolutely.
And that's the way they did it this year. They didn't do it that way last year. So I think the committee did a great job. The seedings are fine. No one can say anything about the seeding. So, I mean, listen, I don't want to hear anything about South Fayette, Jeremy. We got Beaver right in front of us.
That's my bad. I'm sorry.
Don't be jumping ahead.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. We respect your opinion, but I'd really like to know what Curly Sue got to say.
Yeah, we'll get her predictions later this week. I'm sure she's awaiting her cheeseburger. So
it's all about Beaver this week.
That's right. Thank you guys for coming down. I enjoy it. I like hanging out with you guys. It's a good time, Frankie. We're going to check out our number 4 Huddle Athlete of the Week. I believe it's one of your guys. Moose Rebar sent us some highlights. We're about to see some flapjacks and some pancakes on the screen.
Here we go.
We're going to head to commercial, and we'll catch you guys in a few.
Thanks, gentlemen.
If you're looking for an aggressive, experienced, results-based law firm, trust in Blaine Jones Law. My team of attorneys will create a solid strategy so that you have the best chance at a successful case. Trust in Blaine Jones Law and call today.
All right, it's all fixed up for you.
Oh, well, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. This is Josh Turkovich from Mon Valley Phone Repair. Shout out to all you student athletes in the Mon Valley. Keep up the great work. From a variety of accessories to new and used model devices, Mon Valley Phone Repair is your one-stop shop. We even buy and sell gift cards. We work on all makes and models of devices, from computers to phones and everything in between. Come see us on the top street in Monessen. Mon Valley Phone Repair, your one-stop shop.
At my dear 67.
And we welcome you back to Foster House 2 in Washington Township for our first live webcast for the Mon Valley Independent as we break down the WPIAL playoff brackets. We've done 5A and 4A, and now it is time for 3A. And the reason I've joined Jeremy and Jose is because unfortunately we couldn't get anybody to come down from Elizabeth forward, but they had a legitimate reason, guys. Tonight is their senior banquet. They have a lot of seniors on the team, so the seniors are enjoying a well-deserved night, and the coaching staff all wanted to be there to pay tribute to the seniors, so it's understandable why they are not here. But EF, the lone representative we have from the Valley in 3A, and you know, they came out of a three-way tie, which is very surprising. You don't see too many of them. We had two of them here that we had to deal with. At least they didn't have to flip a coin on this one.
Yeah, that conference was a mess because everybody beat everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, admittedly as a sports editor, I still don't get the Gardner points and the +10, but. Yeah. You know, I know EF, you and I watched them against Derry, and they were very impressive till the last 35 seconds or so.
Right.
You know, but, you know, I think that conference is really hard with the addition of North Catholic this year. But EF has some special players. And, Jose, it all starts with their quarterback, Zach Benedict.
Absolutely, and Zach Benedict has shown the ability not just to pass, but he can run the football as well. Finished with over 1,000 rushing yards under center. Has just been an impact player in all facets of the game. Even had a pick six.
I was going to say, he's not a bad D-back either.
I mean, this is really his first year playing defense, and he had a pick six in the game against York in the regular season finale, and then had 2 touchdown passes and a rushing score. So he pretty much did it all for them against the Cougars, and I mean, he's just a dominant force at QB.
And they've had a running back by committee a lot. You know, they lost Brian Malloy last year, who was their featured back. You know, but Benedict has really picked up the slack, and the backs that they have brought in have been impressive. You know, you had the little scat back in Lewis. You know, Chris McCosey running the ball has been pretty impressive. But, you know, they still have a talented offense, and you got Nate Alberts on the outside that you could throw the ball to.
Yeah, and I think the key that makes their running game so good is they run that read option and zone read so well. And if you jump on the running back, Benedict's going to burn you.
Right.
And if you go after Benedict, you're leaving the running back open, and that's why the running backs have been able to have the success that they've had. Plus, the offensive line has done a nice job for them. Right. They really have. I'll be honest, I saw Derry just annihilate North Catholic.
Right.
And then Derry decided they were going to have a comeback, and they did. And EF ended up holding on for their dear life. They pulled the game out. But I think EF's got the weapons. I also like their defense. And I tell you who stands out to me. He just had a fantastic game against Derry, and that's the big linebacker, Nate Holman.
He had the, I think, he had the most aggressive take getting to the backfield. There was nobody, you know, Derry features Justin Flack, who you've seen twice now, a great running back, really fleet-footed, you know, but he, like you said, Homa dominated that game. And anytime you got A.J. Ackerman on either line, the offensive or defensive, you have a train to follow through the hole.
And I think what really impressed me about the Derry game is I saw how physical Derry was with North Catholic. And they just beat up North Catholic with their physicality.
and yet EF came in and they out-physical Derry.
Right.
So they've got a lot of positive things going for them, but they've got a tall task. It's tough to beat Beaver Falls, especially when you've got to go up to Beaver Falls to beat them.
Right.
And I think the Warriors really come in with momentum. After the 27-0 loss to North Catholic, outscoring opponents 155-13 in the final 3 games. The offense is clicking on all cylinders. The defense is really so strong, and they're going to give Beaver Falls all they have, even though they have to really go out to Beaver Falls for basically a home game.
Oh, and what's nice though is you're not playing on Beaver Falls' their mud pit of a field. You're going to go to Geneva College. You're going to play on turf. Whether it's rain or not, the field conditions will be okay. And like you said, running that read option, when Zach Benedict gets behind A.J. Ackerman and that train's rolling, and Benedict's no slouch either. He's a powerful runner. He is. Coach Mike Colodi said, we've unleashed the beast this year.
Yeah.
And all around, like you said, all around great football player.
And the thing that they've added that makes them even that more difficult to defense is they put the RPOs in the run-pass options where they'll do that read, zone read, and he'll take a look. And if he's got a receiver that's open, he's going to hit him. But most times it's Alberts.
And that's a big thing too. At the beginning of the season, they replaced Gavin Mardick, who is an all-conference wide receiver. Who's now, I believe, it's James Madison.
John Carroll. Yep.
They had to replace a big guy like him, but Austin Rowan stepped up, Nate Alberts has stepped up, and they've even worked some of their running backs into the passing game as well.
Right. We mentioned Lewis, Evan Lewis. He gets that ball behind the line or out on the wing. You might not be able to see him. He's short in stature, but he plays with heart. He's fast. He's strong. And he's shown he's had good hands. I think we got the stats from their last game, and I think they had 4 guys with over 85 yards rushing, including Benedict, who's over 1,000 yards now, like we said. But, you could try to key on Zach, but he's such an unselfish player that he's going to find his teammates, and they're going to find a way to beat you.
Yeah, he distributes the ball very well. I would liken him to a point guard in basketball, the way he distributes the ball. But if it's there and he takes it, watch out.
Right. Looking at this game, Beaver Falls comes out of that conference without Aquippa, who was upset by Central Valley last week, But I kind of lean, Elizabeth Ford was in that hole where one of those teams had to go on the road. And, obviously North Catholic came into EF and, they dominated the Warriors.
Right.
That was the week after the Derry game. I think Coach Colodi thought they were maybe a little bit more lackadaisical heading into that game. But he's corrected that, obviously. It says on the brackets here in front of me that it would be an upset. I kind of like Elizabeth Ford to win this game.
Yeah, when it's a 4 against 5, anything can happen in playoffs. Right. I think when it comes to the postseason, the seedings, once the game starts and the whistle blows and the clock starts running, the seeds go out the door. Anything can happen on a given night, and in a 4 or 5 matchup, it's hard to give the advantage to one team over the other.
Yeah, very true. 4 or 5 matchups. Yeah, they're seeded 4th and 5th for a reason. That there's not a whole lot of difference between them. And let's face it, EF was a tri-champion.
They're a champion, right? They're a conference champion.
They were a tri-conference champion, so it was just their misfortune, as California will attest to.
Right.
That if you're a tri-champion and only 2 teams get home games,
right.
You're out of luck.
Last but not least, I think EF's defense. You mentioned a little bit about it. I expect them to come out with a little bit of chip, because after that North Catholic game, and North Catholic has a bunch of special players on that team led by their quarterback, Mr. Rocco. But I think since that game, Coach Colodi has really got in their heads, and they know their task. And you mentioned Nate Homa, as a leader on that defense, and we ran a huddle athlete at Chase Watton, only a sophomore. He's really come on the last few games. I think the chip on their shoulder is big enough that I like them to pull the upset. I really do.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably maybe a 1 touchdown game. I think it's definitely going to be a close one. It's not going to be, one team blowing out the other. It's definitely going to be one of those. Whoever makes the least mistakes is going to win this one.
All right. I think that's good for the 3A bracket. Coming up next, I know we got some special guests. Our first true player guest, I know we had a surprise with Mason Pasco.
Yep.
That was awesome to have him here. He's got quite a few T-shirts from us already this year.
Yep.
And he might have some more awards coming towards him. But we got 2 player guests coming up representing Charleroi. So when we come back, we will look at Sarah Catholic briefly. They got a tough task playing Shady Side Academy, so we'll delve into that a little bit. Then we'll get to our guest from Charleroi, and we'll break down the 2A brackets.
Sounds good.
Coming up next is our next huddle feature. I think it's number 3, Anthony Bertram running the Burt Cat. We'll see a little bit of that. I was always told it was a Lep Cat, but we're going to go Burt Cat. I don't want Coach McGinley in his shorts to come over here and beat me. So we'll take a look at that and another couple commercials, and we'll be right back live from the Foster House.
If you're looking for an aggressive, experienced, results-based law firm, trust in Blaine Jones Law. My team of attorneys will create a solid strategy so that you have the best chance at a successful case. Trust in Blaine Jones Law and call today.
All right, it's all fixed up for you.
Oh, well, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. This is Josh Turkovich from Mon Valley Phone Repair. Shout out to all you student athletes in the Mon Valley. Keep up the great work. From a variety of accessories to new and used model devices, Mon Valley Phone Repair is your one-stop shop. We even buy and sell gift cards. We work on all makes and models of devices, from computers to phones and everything in between. Come see us on the top street in Monessen. Mon Valley Phone Repair, your one-stop shop.
At my dear 67.
And we are back here on MVI Sports live from the Foster House 2 in Washington Township. Jeremy, how you feeling right now?
I'd be better. Didn't we order a King Cap a while ago?
I think we did. We haven't
getting
gotten
a little
that King
hungry
Cap.
over here, you know.
But you know, I understand this place is pretty packed.
It is.
So,
we got to give quick thanks to our fans, some football parents, some players. You know, it's awesome to be able to fill this place for our first show. We're excited, and let's look at 2A real quick. This is the first one we got 2 teams.
Yes.
I kind of feel bad for one of them, though.
Yes, we're going to start with Sarah Catholic, number 16 seed, tied for 3rd in the Three Rivers Conference. They got number 1 Shady Side Academy.
They
got some weapons, right, Jared?
They do, and you know what, Sarah, you know, Coach Regas knows, you know, they kind of played themselves into this position.
Right.
You know, big rivalry win over South Allegheny earlier in the season. You know, and I mean, that's a whole nother story. Glad what happened to the Gladiators this year. But you know what, Sarah Catholic, they come off of that big win, and they lay an egg, you know, against Seton LaSalle, and that's who's right above them. And Seton LaSalle, you know, we can take a look at the bracket right here real quick. You know, Seton LaSalle makes out, and you know, they're the 12th seed now. So, you know, that 4 positions is a big deal when you're going to go up against the number 1 seed. And I believe Shady Side Academy is the number 1 team in the state.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have some talent up there with quarterback Sky Moore and Dino Tomlin. That's not a name that's not uncommon around here.
Son of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, so, you know, Sarah Catholic has a tough task ahead of them, but, you know, they do have some players. They do have some athletes.
Right.
And like Coach Regas said at the bracket meeting, you know, everybody's 0-0. You rebuild, you regroup, and you get ready to go.
Right.
And that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think the key here is the offense has to just fire on all cylinders.
Right.
I mean, you need guys like Patrick Brennan. You need him to throw the ball as much as he can. I mean, it seems like there are times where he just doesn't want to make a mistake. And we know how good of a baseball player he is. We know how good of an athlete he is. And he needs to show that. And, you know, he has some weapons with Matthew Lishney. He has some Khalil Smith in the backfield can take over a game. So it's big for that offense to really,
you know, and you talk about, you mentioned Khalil Smith right now. You know, I think he needs to get the ball a little bit more. I mean, he's shown he can get the 100 yards you need from a running back. You know, and sometimes there's, you know, 20 carries, 78 yards. You know, he's chipping away, but, you know, he's proven that he can, you know, he can get the yards, he can get into the end zone. And they have Bernard Lawson really break out the last few games.
Right, and obviously the defense as well. I mean, this Sarah Catholic defense, it's in the slouch. Right. You know, you got guys like Mark Banner, who has over 100 tackles on the season. I mean, he's a guy that can be a big difference maker. They can create turnovers. I mean, the one game that I covered of theirs this year was that rivalry game against South Allegheny. And that's what they did. They created turnovers. They went down early, but they came back and they, I think, scored 23 unanswered points in that victory. So, you know, if they can, you know, make some big plays when it matters, I mean, they can surprise some people.
Like Coach McGinley and Coach Messino said, you know, the playoffs are a whole different animal.
Yeah.
I mean, one big play here, one big turnover here, it could really change the outlook of the game. But, you know, and it comes down to basics. You mentioned Banner, you know, wrap up and tackle. I mean, especially with Moore and Tomlin, and I'm sure they got other players, you know, that, I mean, I'm not covering them, we don't really know, but those are the biggest names. But, you know, you have to hit these guys. You have to hit them, then you have to hit them hard, then you have to hit them again, and then hit them even harder.
Right.
You know, they showed big play capability, and the Eagles defense is going to have their hands full, and offensive coordinator Mick Bettler, I know he's going to try to work up a scheme and try to beat their defense.
Mm-hmm. What's you got a prediction at all for this one? I know it's a tough one because
it's a tough
Sarah
one.
Catholic is a team that they have weapons, but it's a tough matchup for them.
They do a lot. Like I was just talking off in the distance to one of our other coaches here. The one thing is they're not going to be playing on the slot that they have been at home. They're going to Shadyside Academy, which obviously academy keyword. They can get any players they want, and they can put a turf field in when they want. So, they're going to be playing on turf and get their athletes going. But, it's kind of like the NCAA tournament for me. Up until last year, how often is a number 16 team beating the number 1 team?
Right.
They got their hands full, and of course we want to see them win. I just don't see it in the cards tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I think it's going to be 38-13. I think Nick Fedora is going to have a few field goals. He's been a weapon for them as well.
Yeah, that's one weapon we didn't mention.
I think he hit one from 45 yards, if I'm not mistaken, in one game. Like, it could have gone 50, could have gone even further. But yeah, he's a big weapon. I think he'll get a couple field goals, but I really don't see the Eagles really mustering up much in this one.
And like I said, this AA bracket shows us our second team. And I think we got Lou Root up there with a couple guests from the Charleroi Cougars, and I see a shirt that I recognize up there.
Absolutely.
And we are over here with Dakota Romantino and Gino Pellegrini of the Charleroi Cougars. Got Gino on my right here, Dakota on my left. And we couldn't get any coaches, but we brought the quarterback and the wide receiver combination that's just been ripping it up in the Interstate Conference this year. And Gino, 90 completions out of 139 attempts, only 4 interceptions to 26 touchdowns, 1,668 yards. Dakota, 38 receptions, 727 yards, averaging 19.1 yards per catch. And Dakota's got 13 touchdowns on the season, Gino with 9. Pretty impressive numbers. And Gino, we'll ask you first, what so far has been the highlight of this season? It's been a special season to this point. Obviously, you want it to go a lot further, but what's been the highlight to this point?
I mean, beating Washai was really the highlight of the season. I mean, that gave us a lot of hype, and it showed us that we can play with anyone we face.
All right, and Dakota, what's it like having a quarterback like this?
Oh, it's amazing. He puts the ball on the money every time, pretty much. It's great to have a quarterback to throw you the ball.
Now, do you two feel there's like a special chemistry between the two of you?
Yeah, for sure. When I throw the ball, he knows if I underthrow him or anything, or if I need to lead him somewhere, he knows it's coming, and we just have that chemistry. We connect together good.
Now, I'm asking this from my own known information. How long have you two been playing together?
I think 12 years.
It's midget league football we've been playing since.
So the chemistry is definitely there. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to send you two over to Jeremy and Jose and get yourself settled in, and they're going to ask you a bunch more questions. Thank you guys for joining us here.
Let's go! They got like fans and stuff. Nobody clap for us. Still want to hear over here. Good to see you again, man. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I gotta say, I like the shirt. Working your way towards another one, I'm sure. The first thing I want to ask you guys, I'm going to go on the record and say I think if you're not playing in mud, that best center game's a little different. That's just me. That's my opinion. Nobody out there give me crap for it, But what do you think of getting the 4 seed? Do you think teams are overlooking you guys a little bit?
I mean, I'm happy with a 4 seed. 4 seed, 3 seed, anything I'll take. As long as we're in the playoffs, I'll take it.
And real quick, Dakota, what's your take on how the season has gone? Coach Getsy obviously brings in a handful of new coaches. Don't know quite what to expect heading in, and from that day until here you are now getting ready for a playoff game Friday. What's it been like for you?
It's been pretty good. Coach Getsy got us really going with adversity. He has this thing that says the team that out tackles and out hits is going to win the game.
Gino, this is for you. Obviously, so many weapons in the passing game, even in the running game as well. What's it like to have Dakota out there and have guys like, Legend Davis and Ethan, all those guys to be able to throw to?
I mean, we have a lot of weapons, and that's why our offense is so deadly. I mean, you can't just stop one person and we'll still score.
Right.
We have so many weapons that we can give the ball to and still score.
Right. And going off that, I mean, it helps to have a good running game to kind of balance things as well. What'd you kind of think of, the way Braden Mahalson's played and the way that Hunter Perry's been in the backfield?
They both run hard, and that's what opens the passing game for me. So they keep running hard, and I keep throwing, and we'll be a tough team to stop.
Right.
You mentioned Braden. Just what have you guys, obviously being teammates, and you guys are all like brothers. How nice is it to see him bounce back from the injury and have the season he had? I mean, I think he's with the 2 hand yards of getting 1,000 for the season. I mean, how nice is it to see him have that kind of
it's nice to see that he bounced back as hard as he did, and he's been playing as hard as he has. Like, no worries about his knee, nothing. He just comes in and he plays football.
What's it like going to your brothers?
You got 2 brothers on the team. I mean, Dom's he's made an impact quickly last year, and I know you got your little brothers on the team now. I mean, what's it like just having the whole family there? I know your mom's around the program. Obviously, your dad's an assistant coach. You got everybody there, so like football seriously is a family thing.
I mean, it runs in the family. Almost one brother doesn't play football, the rest of us did. It just runs in the family. And I got Dom on my team and Nico on my team.
And you got a little sister that's a cheerleader too, so I know she roots for you too. Dakota, what's it like catching balls from this kid? I mean, are you ever amazed by any of the throws he makes?
No, it's on the money every time. So it's just great.
Obviously, you're still looking towards just this playoff run. But last year's loss, I know that stung for you guys. What did you kind of learn from that experience that is helping you towards a fresh start here in 2018?
I mean, that was our first playoff game we've ever been in. Any of us experienced in high school. And I mean, I think we went in there thinking, they're a lower seed than us, we're going to whoop on them. That's not how playoff football works. Playoff football, you have to play every play like it's your last game. That's how you have to do it.
Is that kind of the mentality? I'll let you answer this too, Dakota. Is that kind of the mentality that Coach Getsy's bringing into this run?
Of course,
yes. Last week, I was sitting at the Bell Vernon Ringgold game. I had a little bit of free time on my hands, and I'm watching the scores of your game with Apollo Ridge. Obviously, they tested you. The big moment, obviously, Dakota, you ran back the second half kickoff. Watching him run that back, was there any doubt you guys were going to complete that comeback and win that game?
Oh, yeah. As soon as he ran that back, I was like, all right, we're in their heads now. It's over. I mean, we played a bad first half.
Does it help? I mean, I asked Coach Getsy this at the pairings meeting the other night, but does it kind of almost help having to go through a little bit of adversity as you head in the program, as you head into the playoffs? You had a tough game, you guys battled back, and now that gives you even more momentum heading into this game this week.
I mean, we had a tough game, and that definitely helps us get into the playoffs because playoffs, we're going to face adversity for sure, and that was a good test for our team.
Sorry, I stepped on Jose's question here, but I just want to ask, I mean, watching, I know Coach Taz is crazy when it comes to watching film. He always has his defense prepared. Coach Getsy too. What have you seen that Riverside's going to bring to the table this week?
I mean, it's really nothing special. They like to run the ball a lot. Hit play action. Any other game plan, get ready for it.
The coaches tend to just worry about you guys more. And obviously you trust them enough to come up with the game plan to have you ready. But is it more of a focus on what you guys are doing and what you guys need to correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. They expect us to get it right on when they go to packets and anything.
You guys play in probably one of the toughest conferences in the WPIAL. I mean, arguably, I would say the toughest to 2A. Does it help you guys knowing that going into the playoffs, knowing that you can compete with Wash High and Beth Center and McGuffey and those teams like that?
I mean, we beat the WPIAL champions from last year. I mean, that gives us a lot of steam coming in the playoffs. I mean, we have a nice shot this year.
And going on that, I mean, that Wash High win, that really gets set the bar high for you guys.
Yeah.
That kind of give you the momentum you guys really needed to come into the year with that one.
Well, all of these other years, I feel like we haven't had the confidence that we can play with it good caliber team like that. And this year really showed us and ourselves that we can play with those teams.
You know, I know for you being the quarterback, and obviously Dakota's out running crazy in the secondary, but the biggest thing you need to have is time. Talk about how much the offensive line and their development has really helped you out this year.
Oh, yeah. Offensive line, shout out to them for real. Because without them, those are our bulls, those are our hogs right there. Without them, this offense would not run.
And the same thing defensively. I mean, I know Dakota, you're playing D-back, and you've been back in the defensive backfield, and you get to watch the defensive line. You're a lot of the same guys.
Yeah.
You know, you get to watch them. What has Coach Taz brought to your defensive mentality this year, you know, that helps you hold a Wash High, who still ended up the highest scoring team in the WPIAL, but you guys held them to what, 30-some points or 40 points. You know, what has your defense looked like that you see different?
We actually understand defenses this year, offense. I mean, we actually we don't go out there with just set game plans like we're going to run cover 3 or anything. We know what the offense is doing and why we're running things, and that's what really helps us this year.
How much has the defense adopted Coach Taz's personality a little bit? I mean, I know him from when he was the head coach at Elizabeth Ford, and they don't call him Coach Taz for nothing. You know, so you know he gets a little out there. But what has your defense kind of embodied that personality?
All right. Well, our defense, we have a hit mentality. I mean, we go out there and we're ready to rip kids' heads off, and that's what he gives us. Really, he's a crazy dude. He's when he needs something to get done, he needs it, and that's no messing around. But we all love him and we listen to him because we know he knows what he's talking about.
I happened to be on the sidelines of the McGuffey game when you guys gave up that touchdown in the last seconds. I had to walk away. I was a little afraid for myself, you know. But is there anything, you know, what has to happen for you guys to win this game? I mean, is there anything specific you guys have to make sure that you do to win this game, or is it just a matter of keeping it status quo and taking care of business?
I mean, we have to listen to the game plan because our coaches always cook up a good game plan for us. And I think if we follow that game plan and play our hardest and play like how we play, I think we'll be fine. You're
good. Well, we'll offer up a couple predictions. I'll see you guys there. I'll be there covering that game tomorrow night for the MVI. I don't see how a team could plan to stop you guys. You mentioned it a little bit earlier with Braden running the ball, you running that RPO a little bit. I mean, it's such a deadly weapon. And then, I mean, you know, Hunter Perry is a tough runner, but he's turned into quite the receiver for you guys. And then if something happens that Braden's not getting it, you could always turn around and hand it to him too.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see any way. I don't know about you, but I don't see Riverside stopping that offense.
I completely agree. I think it's Cougars by a couple touchdowns in this one.
I'm going to say 3. I'm going to go like 48. And, you know, Riverside's a good team. They have a good program. They might hit 20, but I just don't see anybody slowing you guys down. That's my official take on it.
I have to agree.
All right, we're thank you guys for coming in. We enjoy it. Thank you for being a part of our first cast. I believe we have the. Okay, yeah, stick around. I guess a couple people have questions for you. Hopefully, it's not your mom or dad. You never know though. But our next huddle highlight. Who do we got here?
We got Mason Pasco.
Mason Pasco, number 2, and then we'll go to a couple commercials. I think we might have somebody at this table who knows who the number 1 huddle package might be, so we'll stick around and watch that. But take it away, and we'll be back.
If you're looking for an aggressive, experienced, results-based law firm, trust in Blaine Jones Law. My team of attorneys will create a solid strategy so that you have the best chance at a successful case. Trust in Blaine Jones Law and call today.
All right, it's all fixed up for you.
Oh, well, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. This is Josh Turkovich from Mon Valley Phone Repair. Shout out to all you student athletes in the Mon Valley. Keep up the great work. From a variety of accessories to new and used model devices, Mon Valley Phone Repair is your one-stop shop. We even buy and sell gift cards. We work on all makes and models of devices, from computers to phones and everything in between. Come see us on the top street in Monessen. Mon Valley Phone Repair, your one-stop shop.
At my dear 67.
And we welcome you back. We've got one more bracket to break down, and that's 1A, where we're going to have two teams from the Mon Valley that are participating. And with me right now is the head coach of the California Trojans, Darren Dillow. And Coach, you, Monessen, and West Green all finished in a three-way tie. And surprisingly enough, not only was it a three-way tie in head-to-head competition, but also in every one of the tie-breaking categories. So it led to a coin flip. Can you describe what was going through your mind when you went down to the WPIAL offices for that coin flip?
Oh, I've never been so nervous to flip a coin. I do know that, you know. We went down, tossed a coin. It was tied for 3 times in a row, and then eventually I was the odd man out. So that's what happened.
Now you got to go on the road, and you're going to face the Clairton Bears up at Elizabeth Forward. And you know about Clairton's program. You're familiar with it. And what are you going to tell your kids heading into this game?
We all put our pants on and tie our shoes the same way. And that's pretty much what we have right now.
All righty, Coach. Good luck to you. Head on over to Jose and Jeremy. And great season. Congratulations.
All right, here comes Coach Dillow. What's up, Nick? Hanging around? Yeah, right in the middle there. In the hot seat, you know. Welcome in. Glad to see you're here.
Thanks for making it out. First webcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I got to know before Jose asks you any question. You guys have a little bromance going. You light up when you see Jose.
I love it. I give Jose a hug every time I see him.
I told him at the meeting, I'm like, I'm kind of upset. I didn't get a hug. I got a handshake.
There's a clear favorite here.
That's all right. You got to be somebody's favorite. That's all right.
That's true. Going into this, Coach, I mean, how are the guys feeling? With Clairton? I know you said that going in, you really didn't know what to expect from the whole point flip situation and where you guys were going to be on the bracket, where you guys were going to be seated. But I mean, how do you guys feel going into this matchup with Clairton?
Clairton's super talented, super fast. But like I said earlier, I mean, we all put our pants on the same way, tie our shoes the same way. I mean, we're going to come in with a plan, practice, focus on us, and get after it.
Starting the season, I mean, you guys kind of started it different than the way you ended it. 1-4 to start the year, 5-0 to end the season. I know part of that is you had a pretty tough non-conference schedule as well. But what did you kind of see was the biggest difference? Was there kind of anything in particular that you saw, compared from the first 5 games to the last 5?
We played a lot of young kids. We're still playing a lot of young kids. And I think the idea was getting them in the system, having them understand what we do, having them understand where to line up, how to understand to read a defense. I mean, we had a lot of problems at the beginning of the year. I think Charlotte was scrimmage. I think we dressed 15 kids, going through camp. And once we got done with camp, we were recruiting kids. I mean, we ended up, I think we had like 10 extra kids after camp just to get kids to practice. I mean, we had some major problems as far as getting kids, on the team. So I mean, it was really important for us to get these kids to understand. And we took some growth in these lumps. I mean, we got our tails handed to us a few times, and it was real important for us. And right now, they're starting to understand. I had one kid, I think he's played every position on the field. just to find his spot where he's fitting into the defense. So, they're playing good football now. They understand the system. They're going to try to keep it as simple as possible.
You mentioned the system a little bit. You kind of shocked a couple people last year when you made the switch. You said you've gone to the Naval Academy's camp the last few years. You decided to go full bore into the triple option. What made you want to do that? And isn't it ideal getting the matchups you get now? In the personnel you have to fit that scheme.
It's personal. It really is. You have to adjust as coach to what you have. So right now I have running backs, and I have a lot of running backs. It's a good problem to have. We have a line that's undersized. They don't come off the ball quick. So we try to do, we have an offense designed for our kids. And right now we have a lot of backs, and that's where our talent is. We got to get them on the field. And that's the easiest way to get them on.
Speaking of backs, obviously, who we're going to talk about here, Mr. Jelani Stafford. I know earlier in the season, and speaking to him and speaking to you, he's getting a lot of Division I looks as a defensive tackle. So you kind of cut down on how much he carried the ball. A little bit, it's gone back up a little bit. We talked about, what did they do different, and I know what they did a little different. But just talk about him as an athlete. We met him for our cover shoot. Great kid, good head on his shoulders, and he mentioned about how playing football now has kind of changed his life.
Yeah, Jelani's a great kid, wonderful character, good leadership qualities, great young man, really, really phenomenal young man. We have a lot of great kids like that on the team. We are very, very blessed with that. But Jelani athletically, he's off the charts. He's such a big kid to run that fast, to be that agile. That he's just once in a lifetime kind of guy for us.
And he's a big, strong kid. We know what he does running the ball. Just talk to him a little bit as a defensive lineman. And, tell us why he's getting these looks from these Division I schools. It's not every day California or a Monessen or these small schools around here have a D1 athlete.
It's the speed. It's the speed of his hands, speed of the speed, ball get off. It's football intelligence. So there's a lot of different skill sets that he has that he can offer to different people. Right now, he's been playing a lot of linebackers. That's where we need it. Move around, find out what that matchup is. So Jelani's been really good for us. As far as the tackle, he's going to make someone very, very happy because he is so hard. This is the first year that he's ever played defense. So he's a great talent.
We mentioned Jelani. You have somebody now that took over for Colin Phillips and Austin Grillo. It's a lot like McKeesport that we cover. We notice they have somebody that can throw the ball. So it's added a little bit of a wrinkle for you guys as well with the way Austin is throwing the ball. And how much harder does that make you defend, let alone trying to defend a triple option. But teams have to watch out for the pass for you guys more so.
Austin's did a great job. I hate throwing the ball.
Yeah,
I absolutely hate it.
You made that known last year, yeah.
I absolutely hate it. However, it's a fact of life. We saw that in the morning. We had to start throwing the ball, and we weren't very good at it. I think this year, I think we threw the ball 50 times this year. I just looked at it this morning. It was like 28 for 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty impressed that we've thrown it that many times. The past few games, I think we've thrown once in the past two. So having that option to be able to throw the ball is really important for us because it's hard to stop everything. So teams are coming up with ways and throwing different defenses at us that, they're going to stop our midline or veer, our dive with Jelani. If they do that, our rocket's usually ready. So now teams are bringing their corners out in order to take the rocket away, which is smart. But at the same time, that's going to leave the wide outside. So we got to make the right calls, make the right reads in order to hit that wide out.
Aside from Jelani, obviously you have a wealth of running backs. Coach East Ryan, Jaden Zuzak, Lucas Clark. I think Coach East and Lucas have over 500 rushing yards on the year as well. One guy, obviously, Jaden Zuzak, didn't really play much last year. Or didn't play at all last year, right? Yeah. So
right before him.
What's it like to be able to have him back in the mix this season?
I tell you what, Jaden grew up. I'm very proud of Jaden. He does the right thing. Came out and we had a talk. I said, hey, what's going on? I want you here. I want you to be part of this. And I tell you what, a lot of talent. Young kid, strong. He's one of those kids that he needed to learn. He needed to understand the system because he was put on that back burner a little bit, not being able to play JVs because we just don't have the numbers, that he didn't understand the exact system. And this year, he's thrown into the fire. Let's go. You got to know this. So he took some months growing up in the first few weeks, but I tell you what, man, he has really come on. What a great talent with him also.
And we kind of talked a little bit, I mentioned a little bit, the non-conference schedule you guys have in these first 5 games. You got Wash High, you got Best Center, you got Laurel. Obviously those are losses, but, how does that help you guys, knowing that, you were able to play those caliber teams going into the playoffs?
It helps us. We first looked at the schedule and said, okay, we got Wash High. We put them up on our weight room board. We Wash High at home. It's a game that we want to win. We're not going into a game to, hey, let's keep it close. We want to win that game. And that's what, as a staff, we looked at and be like, what's the best game plan? What are we going to do? So that was important for us. Laurel, man, what a talented team they had. They were a surprising team for us. They were better than what we thought, and Best Center, they were loaded this year too. So, all three of those games were really strong teams for us and really helped us actually prepare. It kind of forces you to be like, this is like what a playoff game is going to be. So it's really important for us to have this game.
Did you learn anything from your guys in those games? Obviously you mentioned you had young guys at the beginning, but they pretty much grew up playing.
They become young men.
Yeah.
Washington came along.
Right.
They started believing, they started buying into themselves. They became young men. They really did. And they stepped up and said, hey, they had the same attitude. But, hey, why not us? Why not we? Why can't we do this? We're just as good as everybody else. That's something that was very good for our team to gel.
One of the things, obviously, for the turnaround too, has been to play your defense. Who has kind of stepped up? Obviously, you have Jelani back there, and like you said, you moved him all around. But who has kind of stepped up into the leadership role, especially after you lost a lot of linemen last year? But who's kind of taken the reins and taken control of that defense for you guys?
We have a no-name defense.
Okay, that makes sense.
We have different kids plugged into different places every week. And it's really, I'm very surprised with some of the kids and how they play. We have this one kid, Seth Rare, and number 18 is a little kid, and he's one of the kids that we played all over the place, trying to find his place on the field. Right. And I tell you what, he has gotten better every single second of practice.
Good.
It's absolutely amazing. He's one of the kids that has really stepped up to do that. Austin Grillo is 100% the leader of the defense and the offense.
Right.
That kid is awesome. He's way smarter than me, I'll tell you that much. He is a football genius. He comes through, he's putting people in positions. The James Zuzak, the Lucas Kwok, the Mason Watkins. We have a kid that transferred in this year. His name's Eric Edmondson.
Right.
Young kid, real big. He's helped us out. We've been rotating defensive linemen in and out. Really, a lot of those kids have really stepped up for us. The play of our outside linebackers has improved drastically. Nathan Zemedy, Lucas Kwok, Jaden Zuzak, we've been rotating those guys in. Coach East plays that outside backer also at times, depending on who we're playing. They've all been really good for us.
And the one thing with those kids, the thing I know about them the most is the speed. That's what I see looking at your linebacker.
We have some speed, and that helps us, and we have to, again, we're trying to adjust our defense to what we have, so different weeks we're playing different schemes because of injuries and who's beat up and where we're putting people. So, the team as a whole has really bought into that defense in the past few weeks and said, okay, where can I help out? Hey, I'm rotating in, but I'm going to give you everything I got in these 3 or 4 plays that I've been in, right, which is huge for us.
I'm sure you didn't have to get your team ready to play Claire. I'm sure they're ready. They're chomping.
They're pretty excited. So, Claire's tough. And I told them, I said, they're fast. They have some fast kids. Watching them on film, watching them against Jeanette, they are really, really fast. Defensively, they are super fast. Just got, like I said, we got to line up, and we have good team speed.
Right.
As a lineman group, they're fast. As a running backs, they're fast. Wideouts, we're fast. So They might have some faster kids, but team speed-wise, I think we're there.
I would assume, playing the offense you do, you just got to keep those guys off the field, right? You control the ball and grind it out. I mean, a lot like when you played Amani last year. I know that the game plan was kind of the same in the semis. And the game you guys played down at Cannon Mac, the first playoff game. I mean, that's what worked for you, and you faced some adversity. How much does having that experience and making the run you guys made last year help the team this year?
Anytime you're playing football after the regular season, it's a good thing.
Right.
The practices help. The workouts help. So that's always definitely a benefit. Having these kids, some of the key players like Austin and Jelani and Cochise and a lot of these guys, Clayton Watson is a lineman that's played for 4 years for us. I mean, having those guys in the playoffs and understand, okay, our season's just starting now.
Right.
That's really important. To tell these young kids, because they don't know, they've never experienced.
And you went through some adversity. You started 1-4, so that definitely has to help. They practically had a playoff game the last 5 weeks of the season.
Down by 10 every game. Right. That's what we walked in. You're losing by 10 points before you walk on the field.
Right.
And that's the last thing I told them. Before we're going out there, I'm like, you're down by 10 points. You got to make it.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you coming down and hanging out with us and being a part of our first show. So far, it looks like it's been a success. We appreciate you representing the Trojans, and we look forward to seeing you Friday night.
Awesome.
Good luck. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to go back to Lou, or are we going to go to a huddle? We're going to go to a huddle break. We got the number 1 huddle package that we sent. So, Coach, have your guys send us some highlights on Twitter. We'll get you guys on. Number 1, we just had here in the hot seat, Charleroi Dakota Romantino. We'll be right back with our last team represented.
If you're looking for an aggressive, experienced, results-based law firm, trust in Blaine Jones Law. My team of attorneys will create a solid strategy so that you have the best chance at a successful case. Trust in Blaine Jones Law and call today.
All right, it's all fixed up for you.
Oh, well, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. This is Josh Turkovich from Mon Valley Phone Repair. Shout out to all you student athletes in the Mon Valley. Keep up the great work. From a variety of accessories to new and used model devices, Mon Valley Phone Repair is your one-stop shop. We even buy and sell gift cards. We work on all makes and models of devices, from computers to phones and everything in between. Come see us on the top street in Monessen. Mon Valley Phone Repair, your one-stop shop.
At my dear 67.
And we are back live at the Foster House 2. I'm Lou Root, and with me is Mike Blainfield, the head coach of the Monessen Greyhounds. And Coach, a great season so far, getting the program turned around, but you got yourself a tall task in the playoffs. You drew the defending, not just the WPIAL champions, but the PIA state champions, the Jeanette Jayhawks, in the first round. What do you know about them?
Well, it's anybody that knows Coach Roy Hall, you know he always has a good program there. So it's always a pleasure to go up against him. You know, you respect him as a good person and a good coach. He's an inspiration to young coaches like myself. And you see the command he has of his program and the respect he gets around the WPIAL. So it's always a pleasure to go up against him. I'm up for the challenge, though. You know, we're up for the challenge. We're in a better position than we were last year. We also played them last year in the first round of the playoffs. Didn't end well for us. So we're looking at have a better turnout this time around.
Well, good luck to you, Coach. I'm going to send you over to Jeremy and Jose, and they've got some more questions for you. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming down for a fun night at the Foster House. I'm sure you've been around, so you know all about the legacy of the Foster House.
Yeah.
So.
I had a king cap earlier, so we're good.
So let's talk Greyhounds, man.
Yeah.
I must say, as you know, when my parents split, I grew up in Monessen on Reed, right across from Jefferson. You know, and I remember watching the days of the Coles brothers, Butchie Duncan. You know, and you seem to have got the Greyhounds back, and I know a lot of people in the town have waited for that. You know, after a couple down seasons, what's it mean to you to see the community pride? I know we talked about it before, but see the pride in the football program back in the town.
Well, it's very fulfilling, and I'll tell you why. In order to have a successful program in a place like this, in Monessen, you have to have the support of the community.
Right.
So it's one thing that's been missing the past couple of years for a long time. So having the community come back and show up to the stadium, and there was moments during the season where you hear the crowd roaring, you get chills almost.
Right.
You get that reminiscent feeling of being back in the early 90s and watching those guys play with a packed house and things like that. So it was very exciting for us to have the crowd back involved, get some buzz in our football program again.
And you had a little bit of success last year, got into the playoffs. And the first thing I noticed when I come to see you at camp is you had a lot more players.
Yeah.
You had more guys in pads. You had the helmets on. You know, you got the numbers back up to 30, not 22, 21, where it's almost dangerous to keep playing games.
Yeah.
How important is it to get the kids back out and, you know, they find that Greyhound pride back in themselves?
Well, it kind of works out itself. When the community gets involved, there's a genuine interest. So the kids they're not forcing themselves to play, they actually want to play.
Right.
So instead of me going out and finding kids, they're actually coming here now and saying, you know, hey, I want to be a part of this football team. You know, they see the success their kids are having, they see the community support, they see the newspaper articles, you know, so we're getting a genuine buzz going, and there's genuine interest involved, and I think the kids are responding to it well.
I know Mr. Root up there asked you about it. First time in I think 16 years we had to flip a coin to settle things.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I've mentioned before, I don't know the Gardner points, the plus 10. I don't get all that. You know, I want head to head, I want point differential, but I get it. What was it like just to be a part of that?
Well, honestly, I purposefully set out of the coin flip, and I'll tell you why. I felt like we should have handled the business during the season, and we wouldn't be in that position. So I let fate decide it, and whatever happened would happen.
I know the running game's been big for you guys this year. Obviously, Devin Whitlock stepping in huge as a freshman. Vaughn Taylor's really had a great season as a senior. Justin Taller's been good in the running game. I mean, how important has that been for your offense this year?
Well, in a typical Monessen style, everything goes through the running game. So having those guys have success, being able to spread the ball, multiple people touching the ball, and everybody having success, getting yards, moving sticks, scoring touchdowns, it's been amazing. On top of that, we brought some excitement back to our special teams. We got to the point where people just stopped kicking the ball to us, for good reason. So having a run game is very, very important.
You mentioned the run game, but earlier this year you had Dwayne Howe at quarterback. Obviously, somebody could throw the ball, and he has 2 targets over 6'1", 6'2", to throw the ball out there. There's kind of been a little shift. He's still getting his snaps at quarterback, but you throw Devin in there every once in a while. I mean, just talk about him as a special athlete coming into the freshman, fits right in. He's making big plays. I watched him play basketball in the court in the summer league. He's got some talent. He's got some skill, obviously.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's probably one of the most dynamic athletes in the WPIAL. If you look up his numbers from this year, he's averaging almost 17 yards every time he touches the football. Whether he's throwing the ball, running the ball, or catching the ball. You don't hear about numbers like that too often. So this kid he's amazing. So we want to try to find different ways to get the ball in his hands. Him playing the quarterback is something that we thought we could utilize early on in the season, especially for big games. We want to run the ball a lot, like the Wildcat taking situation. But he stepped up. He stepped up well. He got the confidence of all of his teammates. So we decided to give him the ball and get the snap from the quarterback position.
And I know Isaiah Beltran's ran a little bit of that same style. I know he did it last year. I mean, how hard is it as a defense? Neither one of them guys are very big.
Right.
So when you got, which we're going to talk about your line in a second, when you got them guys behind the line, you don't know where they're going.
Right.
And they get to that edge so fast. I mean, I know you talked about earlier in the year you want to move the sticks and have sustained drives, but you do have those players that can throw out them splash plays, with their speed.
Absolutely. At any point in the game, they can bust the game wide open, and that's the good thing about having guys like that. And even though they're small, they're really quick and they're deceptively strong. They're great tackles. So even inside the tackles, they're breaking tackles from the defenders. So you watch it happen, and it almost catches you off guard. Like, wow, I can't believe this kid's taking little guys on the sideline, bucking them over, and he's staying on his feet. So it's fun to watch. It's been exciting all season. But with those guys being so young, you can expect a whole lot more in the future.
Bring a lot of momentum into the playoffs. Won 4 of your last 5 games in the regular season. The one loss was you guys played really close with a tough Rochester team. How do you feel about where you guys are going into the postseason, going up against the top seeded team?
Honestly, our excitement lies in the venue.
Right, great. Yeah, we were going to talk about that too, but we'll kick that conversation off.
We've been playing in slop the past couple of weeks, and it's been really rough trying to get our feet underneath us. So once the kids heard we were playing on turf, they were really excited, especially playing at Hempfield. We're familiar with that location, and we have a lot of our 7-on-7s in the summertime out there, player combines. So we're familiar with the area, so the kids are really, really excited about that, and so am I.
And you're going to utilize your speed.
I think it puts us on much more of an even keel as far as competing with those guys that are the Class A powerhouses.
You mentioned the top seed, Jeanette. Obviously, juggernaut. They just played Clairton. Had no issues with them, dispatched them. What do you see from them on film that makes them such a special team?
We see the same thing we were talking about earlier, them being able to sustain drives. Aside from having the splash plays, if you go and watch the closer games they've had with teams like Clairton or Monty Christian, they've been able to move the sticks, getting 6 or 7 first downs in one drive. And that's the most impressive thing you can see. Any team that gets the hard work at the end of the year, there are always guys that can move the sticks consistently.
And we talked a little bit about the matchup this year, but this is a team you saw last year. And obviously they went and made a great run into the States. What's different about their team this year, and what's different about your team this year heading into this game?
I don't think their team's much different. They have the same expectation. Every time those kids take the field, they expect to win. They expect to go into a state playoff and win a title again. And I know that's the standard that Coach Hall holds those guys to. As far as we're concerned, those guys that were carrying the load for us last year as freshmen are now sophomores that have playoff experience. And whereas they might have been a little timid last year, they are no longer timid. They're looking to come out and make a statement, looking to actually they're looking to play for each other, which is something we haven't done in a long time.
Right.
A lot of guys are going out. Last year was more like playing for our senior class. Having those guys have a playoff game for the first time in a couple of years was really, really big for us. This year it's more about taking a more realistic point of view and saying we're going to go out here one game at a time and see how far we can go in this playoffs.
What's going to kind of be key for you guys on Friday? For you guys to be able to possibly shot everyone and come out with
ball security. Ball security. The close games that we've had with, especially that one with Rochester, we had three takeaways that we lost. So ball security is going to be huge. Even when our defense is playing well, when we're holding guys to a short number of offense, we turn the ball over in poor positions on the field. So ball security is going to be huge for us on Friday. So we've been working with that all week. That's why we were taking advantage of practicing in the rain tonight, getting used to a wet ball, things of that nature, and playing in the slop again. That way it feels a little bit better on Friday. We're playing that turf with our legs underneath us.
One of the things that struck me is we talked a little bit at the pairings meeting about Coach Hall. They're a well-coached team. I mean, his legacy speaks for itself. And we talk about the return of Greyhound football, and it's about being respected.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that when you got this job, Coach Hall reached out to you,
yeah.
And obviously he respects you as a coach as much as you respect him. How important is that to what you're trying to build with the Greyhounds program?
It's important for me because you see a guy like Coach Hall, and you see he kind of sets a tone for you. He's a cookie cutter.
Right.
You understand, you want to reach that level of success, that level of respect among the WPIAL coaches and WPIAL administration. And you want to have that type of command over your program. So that's my goal. Every time I take the field and every time we go into the off season, I try to build this program up to be similar to something like that.
How are you feeling coming into this? Two seasons as a head coach, another playoff appearance. How do you feel going into this game? And what's kind of the excitement level for you guys?
Well, it's been really exciting for us because, at the beginning of the season, a lot of people are assuming that we were still going to be that Vanessa team of the past couple of years. So at the beginning of the season, we wanted to make a statement. We've done that with a couple, solid wins at home. So now we're looking to make the biggest statement of all. That's shopping the world and get our first playoff victory in a long time.
I don't want to disregard the one unit that has really allowed this turnaround to happen, and that's your line.
Oh, yeah.
You got some big boys down there now. I know you got little Mizrax there,
yeah.
And he ain't little.
Yeah.
But Jalen Bryce has kind of really stepped into that, and Bell, he's been a big part of it. Talk about your line and how integral they've been in this turnaround, allowing your offense to do what they do.
Oh, the line's been amazing. I'll tell you what, those guys, they play well together. Each guy up front has their own separate role in more ways than one, with Jalen being sort of like the leader of that guy,
right.
that group of kids. And Mark has a special role too because he's actually been like our most improved player. Like, if you see him the way he was last year, the way he is now is completely different.
Right,
so
right.
It's been fun watching him growing up. Funny story, when we first got to camp this year, after from last year we tried his whole uniform on, he couldn't fit it.
That's not a bad thing.
Came down to about right here, and we're cracking up like, man, this kid's a real deal. So he's playing well. Another kid that stepped up and got a lot of confidence from his teammates, and it shows on Friday nights.
All right, Coach. Well, like I said, we appreciate you coming down. Good luck on Friday night. I know a lot of people were upset a little bit that you guys were second in the conference, but you got to 16.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into it. We know why they did that. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But I think you have a group now that has embraced this challenge. This is a team they want. Over a couple years ago, you might not have a team that gets up for this game, but I think now you do, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck, and we'll be there watching you and be there for you.
Well, as soon as we got the news of who we were playing, the kids weren't discouraged at all. They were excited. They were ready to go. I don't think they were fearing any person, as far as opponents go. So we were ready to go. But Let me congratulate you guys also, your first live broadcast, and hopefully the first minute.
I hope so. This is awesome. This is a great
thing. We definitely appreciate you guys putting us on display and giving our student athletes some exposure.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate the love we get from you guys. And I'm glad, like I said, as a former Monessen resident watching those old guys play. I mean, it's great to have the Monessen back in the fold. It really is. And we wish you guys nothing but the best of luck on Friday night.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right. Are we going to a commercial, or are we just going straight to questions? Like I said, we got Lou Root up here with our photographer specials, Mike Darnay and Jen Caudalupi. I think they got some questions.
Thank you, Jeremy. And I have Jen Caudalupi and Mike Darnay from the Mon Valley Independent Photographers. And you might not know them by their faces, but you probably know them by their work and the pictures they put in. And that's what we want to touch on right now. Let's find out what your favorite picture was from this past week.
My favorite one from last week was not an action photo, but after the Yock EF game, Yock was obviously done for the season because they did not qualify for the playoffs. I got a picture together of Yock's Dustin Schoaf and Elizabeth forward Zach Benedek together. In that game, Zach rushed for over 1,000 yards on the season, and that was put Dustin over 5,000 on the season. Before the game, I was talking to Zach's dad, and he mentioned to me how the two of them had been playing against one another as opponents for years. So I caught the two of them together after the game for a little moment of their own.
A special photo. I got a chance to see that one. Jen, what was your favorite one?
So mine was special two ways. First, my favorite one was the pick six that Shallery had. It was my son. So I was able to be on the field with him when he had his pick six, and it was incredible because his teammate, who is a senior, is behind him, cheering him on all the way, which was Dakota Romantino, was behind Ethan and just cheering for him to make that pick six happen. So it was a pretty awesome experience to be there to watch him and be on the field with my son and getting that opportunity to photograph that.
That does sound like an amazing chance there. Thank you for your input on what your favorite photos were, and I think we're going to try and make this a regular segment, are we not? We are. All right, so we'll hear more from Jen and Mike in the future as we continue with our webcast. Yep. All right, what
next? We have some questions, so we're going to actually pull Dakota and Gino. Come here.
Okay, Dakota Romantino and Gino Pellegrini from Charleroi.
So the question is, how do you prepare every week to play both offense and defense? Since both you players are on both sides of the ball for pretty much the whole game, how do you prepare for that?
I mean, it's a mentality you have to. We go out there, we know we have to play both ways. We don't have a huge roster, so it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. I mean, I think we handle it pretty good.
Yeah, as he said, we don't have a lot of people on the roster. Coach really helps us with that, with the conditioning that he makes us do. So we're just ready for it.
All righty, thanks, guys.
One more question, Wyatt Perry, come on up here. So Wyatt is a Fraser football player, and he happens to be Dakota Romantino's cousin. So our question is, Wyatt, you've been playing against Gino and Dakota for many years because you played midget league against each other. How is it playing against your cousin?
It's amazing. I love playing with these guys, even though we're on different teams. Unfortunately, my season came to an end, and now I'm here to support these guys. Hopefully they take it all the way.
All righty, thank you. All right, who do we have next for questions? We need the coaches from Bell Vernon, if they're here. If they're here. Okay. All right, did you find them? Well, we're going to head off and find the coaches from Bell Vernon and see if we can get their questions answered. Do we need to throw it to Jose and Jeremy here for a second, or do you want me to try and fill?
I don't have the thank yous yet. All right, well, here we are. We got the ball thrown back in our court. And why don't we, Jose, let's get the thank yous out of the way here, because
we have a lot of thank yous
That is a big list of thank yous that we have to go through. But first, I got the most important one. We have to give it up for our photographers who do a phenomenal job every Friday night and every day through the week doing soccer. I don't know if Jen's available tomorrow to shoot something else, but we'll see. But I got to give it out to our photographers. They are so popular that other photographers take pictures of them and post them on their sites.
Yep.
So we appreciate the love.
They do that.
We love it. So let's get our thank yous real quick. Most importantly, all right, I'll tell you what. Let's hold off on this for a second. We're going to throw it back to Lou, who has a Bell Vernon coach, Frank.
Thank you, Jeremy. And Frank, we got this question from the audience, and it's a relevant one because your team started off the year. You had some injured players. I know I talked to Coach Humbert, and you were missing starters early on in the season. They got healthy just in time for more injuries to take place. And the question is, how has the team been able to handle the fact that they've had key injuries during the course of the season?
Well, I think I spoke earlier about, there's an expectation in the program that, we have a standard set. And, Coach Humbert's real big into we coach up every kid. And just for situations like that, because you never know when you're one injury away and the next kid's got to step up. So the coaching staff does a great job making sure the next kid's ready. And, it's definitely it hurts you when you lose a kid, but you adjust. And I think the kids have done a good job getting through it. The next guy up, making sure they're ready to go. And I think they've done a good job getting through it.
All righty, Frank. Thank you very much. Good luck on Friday. All righty, Jeremy, Jose, you got it.
Okay, with the stretch run, here we are with our thank yous. I'm sorry we have a list because there are just so many, and if I forget anybody, I kind of feel a little stupid. We don't want, first off and foremost, we have to thank the Foster House, Dave and Teresa Bashada, the Foster House 2, yes. Here at the new facility, they've been fantastic. I can't wait to tear into my King Cap sandwich. It's waiting for me. The staff, the cook, the servers, the bartenders, our host and moderator, Lou Rude, who I felt could be a real asset for us in this venture with his broadcasting background and as a teacher. Kevin Ike Evangelo doing our social media, the IT stuff, Chad Corrado, our producer, director extraordinaire, ownership. They, without them, I wouldn't even have a job, and I love the job I do. Mo and Jenny Gallus, Naz Victoria, Joe D'Alfonso, all the coaches and players, that are so respectable and cooperative with the job we do every Friday night. The parents of the players, they, hey, I don't know if you guys are watching, saw it. We had this show planned, and they filled the joint for us. I'm sure, as ecstatic as we are, I'm sure Dave and Teresa are really excited. We got to thank Perked Up Cafe for the drink holders that we've had. Mon Valley Phone Repair for their support. The Green Pellet Team, Victoria House, the Riverside Village Shops, Menneson Florist, Extreme Development, and Blaine Jones Law. I have to thank my lovely wife and my beautiful daughter. Daddy's not home a lot, but they let me do my thing with my job. This isn't an easy job. We work a lot of strange hours, so I couldn't be happier and ecstatic for what they allow me to do. We have some difficult mornings getting off to school because we miss Daddy, but hey, Dad of the Year.
Right.
Got to do what I can. You got anybody?
Yes, I have to give a shout out to my lovely girlfriend, Bree.
She's over there.
For allowing you to do this. I don't really get to see her as much during the week because we work opposite schedules.
Welcome to my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she is incredibly supportive, and I couldn't do this without her, so I got to give a shout out to her. Give a shout out to my family as well. Hi, Mom.
I hope everybody is in. Oh, wait, we're going to go live over to Lou. Got Dave and Teresa right there. Go ahead, take it away.
And thank you, Jeremy. And indeed, I do have Dave and Teresa Bashada, owners of the Foster House 1 and 2, and want to thank them for hosting this tonight. And how do you think the night went?
I think everything went really well. We want to thank you for including us in this night and your flagship experience with that, and we hope to have you back again.
Sounds good. Now, Dave, you're an old BVA football player. What'd you think of having all these other people here tonight?
It brings back some memories, and just good luck to all the local teams. Hope they all do well.
All right. Thank you, Dave and Teresa, again for the wonderful job you did in hosting this tonight and the great facility you have here at the Foster House 2 in Washington Township, just off of 201. I'll give you a free commercial. You're welcome. All right. Send it back to you guys.
Has jumped herself back into the conversation here. Jen, welcome.
Hi.
To the front of the stage, I guess, so to speak. You have something you want to say?
I just want to thank my family again. They have been supportive since you got to thank yours and thank yours. Dan was here all night having some sandwiches and drinking a few beverages, so thank you.
No problem.
And we want to thank all of our loyal viewers. This is a venture that we are all very excited about, and it's just the beginning. And please subscribe to MVI Live on YouTube to get notifications for our future shows, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at MVI_sports.
And before we cut it off here, and we're going to end the night, join us next week live on YouTube. We will be live from B Graphics, who is kind enough to open the store a couple extra hours. There might be some special surprises, but we are going to unleash the unveil. I like to unleash because we got some beasts in this group. We are going to let loose our Fab 15 Soccer All-Stars. We have some major awards to give away.
Yes, we do.
Hopefully we will be joined by some of those talented athletes. We look forward to everybody subscribing, watching live. And that's it, man. It's our first one.
We did it.
Air high five.
Air high five.
There it is. Thank you very much again to the Foster House, and thank you for all of you guys, technical difficulties, for tuning in.